Yeah, and in addition, we also did. We were supplied very nice microphones by Sennheiser, so we did a couple of
we did some
handheld screaming takes with the MD441.
Yeah, MD441.
Very nice microphone.
So basically, old Deutsche Demokratische Republik material microphone,
and one of the few microphones that's still being made like they did in the 60s, the Sennheiser MD441.
And this one we also used for the drums, didn't we?
Yeah, for the drums and for quite a few of Ivar's guitar overdubs. So it's a very nice mic.
Yeah, this was enough talk about the microphone part.
Yes,
and,
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Or Castanets.
Brilliant.
This is Art Man.
All right. Okay. And we are back in Duper Studios, where we have done recordings on drums, guitars and bass this week, and I think it might be time for one of these.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. What do you say? Moog synthesizer. Synthesizer.
The synthesizer.
Played by the feet.
Step inside and have a I'm using Cube. Hey guys, so this is one of the 3 studios where we recorded this album. This studio is called Peersonal Sound. Step inside. Yeah, it's called Peersonal Sound because it's my home studio. It's been like that since the early 2000s. Not here obviously, but in different places where I live. The other things you see here, yeah, I got a pretty good Neumann. It's a TLM 103 microphone. Maybe a bit overkill for a home studio, some people would say, but as I said, we use some of this stuff on the album that I do at home, my guitars and now this one even some vocal parts, so it needs to be too good. And it's also good for recording acoustic guitars and that kind of stuff. Got my guitar of course. I do most of the recording up here and then reamp it. We can have a look at the amp room afterwards. And of course there's some synthesizers and effects, you know, for making some psychedelia on the Enslaved albums. It's a simple setup. I got my PV classic stack down here for overdubs and so on. It's cool to have a little bit different expression than the basic rhythm guitars, which are as always recorded with the PV 6505 plus. The classic stack gives a different tone to the overdubs. It's recorded with a classic Sennheiser 421. Yeah, so I'm sending down the signal from the studio and reamping it down here. It's easy for that.
speaking of album covers, I really like, I mean, in all kinds of like art, paintings, I like the simplicity of things. I like, I mean, the simplicity at first sight, and thereafter the depth in it, you know. So I think all of covers since Monumentation have been very simplistic, actually. I mean, there are few elements at first sight, and then you start exploring it.
Now we're in Solslottet, Castle of the Sun, to record some extra guitars. Right now Ivar, our co-producer and studio technician, is setting up.
So guys, we just heard a few tracks. The atmosphere is still good, or are we pulling out?
Well, it's kind of yeah, pretty good.
You're so immature, Gutland.
I watched that last night, actually.
What do you say, Twils? No comment? Or?
No comment.
Hi and welcome to Conclave and Earshot Studios. Let's have a quick tour in the studio. Here we got a control room A. And this is the recording room. It's a bit messy, but it's a studio. So this is where we have recorded my rhythm guitars and lead guitars, some acoustic guitars, overdubs, Abraham's keyboards, vocals. Yeah. Here you can see this is my guitar stack, TV stack. I've used for the rhythm guitars and lead guitars. It's also what we use live. Here's Grutle's space stack for those who want to see that. There is another TV cabinet. That one I used mainly for the clean guitar and more crunchy guitar and some overdubs. A little bit different sound. And also a small Marshall that I've used for some melodies, lead parts.
So here I recorded all the keys, the organs, and all of my vocals. Standing in this room and rocking out all by myself, pushing record and then running to the mic. Some preamps for those who are really interested in stuff like that. Some are gone. Mostly we used this one, the GTQ2, very nice one. And this dresser, we used SM57 Shore mic and Royer mic for Arve's guitars, the rhythm guitars, and SM7 Shore for the vocals here.
For me, I gotta have it simple. I gotta have a guitar I like and an amp I like. Yeah, basically just plug in and press power and it gotta sound like at least almost how I want it. I use some pedals, but I'm not the guy that can use like tons of different effects and a huge rack. It's too complicated for me. So I like it easy that way, and like if I need a special sound or effect on some parts, I use like simple Boss or Ibanez pedals that I push in and out. So yeah, that's basically how I do it. So I use Gibson guitars mostly and PV stacks.
High sales notes. It's all in his head. Is like an own instrument, and of course people like John Lord, the Purple, brought it to like the rock stuff, especially him and others of course, but and we're all inspired by some of the 70s bands, some using organs and some don't, but yes, the organ and the guitars kind of melts together in a good way. Maybe that's if you dub a guitar with the organ, it sounds bigger and a little bit more different, I guess. So you have more flavors to put into the arrangements and stuff.
The concept of song structures has always been interesting to discuss when it comes to Enslaved's songwriting. We started out, like many other experimental bands, with no actual regard to the concept of traditional classic songwriting. But over the years, of course, we have become more a part of the bigger musical rock and hard rock family, and so we've experimented a bit with normal forms, I guess. Particularly in our mid-period, around the time of RIITIIYA. We had a bit more obvious or more normal song structures. And then I would say that before this album I just reached the conclusion that you couldn't really look to that when writing music. I would say that our songs and the way we make an album is more like a nuclear reaction or something. It's, you know, it starts, you ignite it at some point, and then it's not about controlling the exact sequence of what's going to happen after that. It's just about facilitating a way for the energy to manifest itself throughout the song. And if that comes out like 4 minutes or 9 or 10 minutes, it doesn't matter. It's the actual force of the song, you know, the proverbial explosion that's important. So I would say that we're working with structures in another way. The structures has to bend and form itself to the music, not the other way around.
And now to something completely different. A canoe and a cat. Yes, my cat. Not much to do with the recordings.
We're now at our cabin. Not ours, but the one we're borrowing in Sweden. We're fairly mid-Sweden right now. Yeah, tomorrow morning we're gonna start mixing the new album, RIITIIYA, which is gonna be very exciting.
Jens Bogren's studio, Fascination Street, is located like 45 minutes from here. So yeah, basically can't wait to hear what magic he's gonna apply to the music. Howdy. Alright, we're almost at Fascination Street Studios. There's not a lot of street feeling around here, but a lot of fascination maybe. There's a lot of fascination. So yeah, the mixing is about to commence in a few minutes. We're hoping Jens has his coffee ready. Yeah.
Hello guys, welcome to Fascination Street Studios. I'm Jens, and I have been mixing and mastering the Enslaved album. It's pretty fucking awesome if you ask me. Let's give you a quick tour of the studio. This is my mix setup. I work with a hybrid system, Pro Tools HD system, and a summing unit and a shitload of outboard gear and guitar amps for reamping and whatever. And for the nerds out there, I have my monitor set up. It's Tony. You can show the guys and girls. I have barefoot monitoring. It's a very cool speaker, and my babies, the Yamaha NS10s, that I love. Right now on the table I have a Veilburner. I'm not sure if that's even the final track, but let's hope so, shall we?
What I've learned now from experience the hard way is that I always do this lead parts or start working on them when the song is like finished and the vocals and everything is like, you don't have to be like finished recorded vocals, but I need like the vocal melody and stuff to like picture the song as a whole and how the lead part fits in, because I've done a couple of times in the past, like did it on like only music sketches, and you make a solo that sounds really cool to the solo riff, and then when the vocals get on it just sounds strange. So yeah, that's when I start working on solos, and then I just like listen to the song from the beginning and just play whatever comes to mind when I hear it, record, and then listen back to it, and in case is this good, this is the right mood and stuff. And yeah, sometimes it's just there from the beginning, from the first time you kind of fool around with it. And other times you listen back and it's like, no, this sucks, I gotta work on this, and have a totally different approach to it.
That we just kind of sit down and try to figure out which riffs and which part of the music fits this and this type of vocal. And sometimes, especially in maybe the two latest albums, there's been more interaction between the vocals as well.